This is CSI Today.
Welcome to CSI Today. I'm Amy Lee.
And I'm George Reyes. As of Tuesday, April 21st, the suspect of the Boston Marathon bombing has been found guilty of the attack. His fate is still being decided, though the government is asking the jury for the death sentence. The other option is life in prison with no parole office.
The trial, of course, was a result of the attack on April 15, 2013, in which double bombings near the finish line of the Boston Marathon killed 3 people and injured at least 264. After a 4-day manhunt that shut down the Boston area, 19-year-old suspect Dzhokhar Tsarnaev was taken into custody. Despite the fate of Tsarnaev still being decided, he will be served justice for the terrorist attacks he inflicted on the innocent public present at the Boston Marathon. However, his older brother and fellow suspect, 26-year-old Tamerlan Tsarnaev, died in the altercation with the Boston police. Investigators, however, later concluded that both suspects carried out the attack on their own and were not connected to any terrorist groups.
The beginning phase of Dzhokhar's trial was the schedule for November 2014, in which prosecutor announced they would seek the death penalty.
This just in, Mavericks. The weather is at an all-time high. Here to tell us more, our professional meteorologist, Anna Simpson.
Good evening, Mavericks. Welcome to Weatherland. Here's the weather, whether you want to know or not. A hot topic in Phoenix lately is how hot it is in Phoenix. Temperatures skyrocketed to 106 degrees. In the past, that is. That's the highest recorded Phoenix temperature from 1925, 90 years ago. Not too different from modern Phoenix, eh? Birds of a weather flock together. Are you Mavericks aware that it's hot outside? So it's safe to say, Phoenix is hot. Arizona is hot. Studio 109 is hot. The hot seats, not. Unbelievable, right? Believe me, it gets weirder. We're predicting a whopping 30 inches of rain in the next 6 years or so. On a similar note, April showers bring May finals. Make sure to study. One last heads up. Since this is the weather, all of my forecasts and information are obviously wrong. Keep that in mind. That's all for today's weather segment. Remember, Mavericks, better late than weather.
Thanks, Anna. Now back to Anna for the evils of SeaWorld.
Dun dun dun!
SeaWorld, the famous animal theme park, home to plenty of precious family memories. The park seems harmless, but is it really? According to the documentary entitled Blackfish, which focused on the horrific cruelties of aquatic theme parks, SeaWorld is not as innocent as it seems. Although SeaWorld claims to have not taken killer whales from the wild in over 30 years, the one whale they did take 30 years ago has been used to reproduce with the other whales in the park. When training the whales to do tricks for their shows, the trainers deprive them of their food if they do not cooperate. Another terrifying fact about the park is that the whales they have put together do not get along. These whales have shown violence against one another, but the park did not do anything to fix the problem for several years. Once it was finally decided that the whales should be set apart, they were kept in 30-foot deep concrete pools without enough room to freely swim. Since the whales cannot openly swim around, it has caused their dorsal fins to collapse. The tour guides claim that some whales are born with it, but in this specific instance it is due to the lack of water pressure in their surroundings. The tour guides have misinformed their visitors on facts about the whales. They claim that the killer whale lives longer in captivity, up to about 30 years. However, when whales are in the wild, they live for 50 to 100 years. After several years of mistreating their orcas, SeaWorld still seems to have not learned their lesson.
SeaWorld have been reported using psychoactive drugs on their orcas. The drugs that are given to them include human medication such as Valium and Xanax, which treat anxiety and panic disorder.
They are giving their killer whales anti-anxiety drugs to ease their mental health for when they're in captivity due to the stress from being held captive as well as the stress that comes from the separation of mother and child. On top of that, the orcas are given this drug in order to keep the whales from acting violently against the trainers. As a result of being held in their tanks, they have shown abnormal behaviors such as banging their heads on the side of the tanks and chewing on the concrete of their walls.
This drug that is given to them is usually for veterinarian care as an anesthetic for medical procedure along with for the control of seizures. It is not clear whether SeaWorld has been sued for giving their killer whales this drug, or if they are under investigation for it. But there has recently been a law passed in California that restricts anyone from keeping whales in captivity.
Does this mean SeaWorld in San Diego is going to shut down? That will depend on possible future lawsuits or decline in ticket sales after this news spreads.
And now, here to get some opinions from our Mavericks, here our field reporter, Skylar Logan.
It's like, obviously, if they have to be put on those kind of medications, they're unhappy with the way things are and where they're kept at in captivity.
SeaWorld bad.
I'm disgusted. It's so inhumane.
How so?
You're taking an orca, you're already putting it in captivity. It's in a defined space. It's not even living its life in the natural as it should be.
Well, that's all for today, Mavericks. I'm Amy Lee.
I'm George Reyes.
And remember, Mavericks, don't go to SeaWorld.
Okay, wait. Where are you recording? Oh, man!
Bloopers!
No way, Jose!
Here to tell us more, our local weather, our professional meteorologist.
What has my life become?
Doing my job.
We'll put it in the bloopers, yeah. That the orcas are giving the drug now.
Orca drug dealers.